Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8 p.m. It's the TNG Review Show.
Yay!
Yay! Sorry,
Yay.
forgot to
There you
unmute
are.
myself.
It's all in the timing. Yeah.
Yeah. Poor.
Hello.
Poor.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. It is Wednesday. It is us. We're back with another TNG episode. And I am joined this evening by my fellow co-host, Maz Bob. Good evening, Maz.
Evening.
And our special guest co-host, sometimes here, sometimes not. You know him as G-Star. Good evening, G.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, Monty. Good evening, Mazza.
I didn't check, but I take it that you're doing questions tonight, so I haven't.
Oh, no.
Let's hope.
Were you doing them? Oops.
Hopefully you're doing that.
Yeah, I've got some special questions in my bag.
Ooh.
I'll be explaining this evening's shenanigans in just a little bit.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, they're going to be fun.
Well,
Because, you know, if I'm only popping back now and then, when I do pop back, I've got to ramp it up a little bit, haven't I?
you're going to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Bamboozle
Yeah.
2.
Bamboozled.
Yeah.
And it's a special TNG review this evening because it's your birthday show.
Yay. Yes,
So-
it is.
Happy birthday! No.
I'm partial to a bit of cake. If anybody wants to send it in chat, send
Cake
me a
in
bit of
chat?
cake.
Yeah,
Cake in
cakes
chat.
in chat, and yeah. Oh, I see Joel's not going to be on again this evening. Oh, sorry to hear that, Joel. But
I've just got a
things
dialed
about
in
you.
to tell us, bless.
Yeah, it's nice.
I've just got a notification to tell me that TNG review show
Is
has gone
live. It's gone live. It's on. Yes,
It's hapcurring.
it's
Hi,
happening. So
Mickey.
yes,
Hi,
happy
Andrew.
birthday. Oh, yep. Happy birthday to you, G. So yes,
Thank
if we
you.
could have some birthday cakes in chat, that would be fantastic.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Stu Plum.
Hello, everyone out there in the chat universe, and hello to my wrench smiler Rainbow. Good evening to you all. We're here.
35 tomorrow,
35. Wow.
according to my
I say
barber.
nothing.
According to my barber.
Oh, right. Wow.
Well, there you go.
I went to the barber's yesterday and I practically knocked him over with a feather when I told him what my age was.
Ah,
And he thought, no way, you look no older than 35.
is your baby face? That's good. Is
Sorry,
that your,
Monty,
is that your
it's-
rum?
Yeah, sorry, I just thought, to
Oh,
mention.
are we cracking the drinks?
Sorry,
we're
I just
rum
poured
tasting.
my.
We all
So
have
does it-
different ones though. So mine
Oh,
is
right.
a Lang's pineapple rum.
I've got to do my ice.
What's yours?
I've got
G?
Hold on,
I've got
I'll
a
tell you.
Chairman's Reserve.
Is that spiced or white or
It's a
Dark?
dark rum.
dark rum?
It's a dark rum. Yeah.
And what's yours, Mr. G Star?
I'm just trying to sort my ice.
Chocolate raisin tobacco, and you really get that kind of tobacco-y kind of flavour from it.
Yeah, I
quite
can
nice.
read what mine says.
My first one
Anyway,
is called Bounty Spice Rum.
yeah.
It's a
Oh.
40% volume.
Bounty,
yes,
does that mean it's coconut?
I'll tell you now.
So yes, just in honour of G's birthday, we are, we're breaking out the rums
Yes.
this evening. Yep. So that's what we're doing.
Mine is
Um,
full of
That's
tropical
my rum.
funk, apparently.
Yeah.
Jamaican tropical funk.
My
Wow.
is from St.
Tropical
Lucia,
funk.
Oh,
and it's
that's bloody
infusion,
lovely.
fusion with vanilla and cinnamon. Oh no.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Oh.
You picked exactly the wrong one. Never mind.
Yeah.
Bless.
Oh, thank you, Abiel, who loves this podcast. Thank you very much. It's
Oh.
always good to have new people along. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. We are talking about a good episode this evening. We're talking about season 3's episode
Yesterday's Enterprise.
Encounter at Farpoint. That's the very first episode.
I know. I had something with Farpoint written on it in my corner of my eye, and yes, Yesterday's Enterprise. That's the one. That's the one we're talking about. My gosh, I've just had a sip of rum and it's all gone already. That's not a good sign for how this is going to go, is it? Really?
I have like 10 pages of goofs and trivia, so we're going to have to march a bit quickly today, I think.
Well, my notes are usually 2,000 words long, and last week I said I broke a record with 3,000. Well, tonight it's 4,000. So
wow. It's going to be a long one, folks.
Yeah,
mine definitely has a very perfumed flavour to it.
Mm. Oh, mine's just
you get a hint of that really
nice
kind of honey, rummy kind of taste.
Right. Guess what I'm doing? I'm remembering to bring up the pictures right from the get-go. Look at that, look. Yeah. I usually forget.
Before you get into the narration, I think
remembered.
It's probably best that I give a bit of an explanation to question time.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I hope everybody's got a degree.
So let me know when you'd like me to... Yeah. No, it's not going to be that complicated. You make them sound like it's crazy difficult.
We've got intelligent watchers, so you know they can figure this shit out.
These are science fiction people. They are interested. They are used to.
They've got this.
Go on then. Give us a quick explanation.
Okay, so tonight's questions, it's going to be like an adventure and a journey as well as question time. There are no ranks this evening, and there are no TNG points. We will start with a spatial. What? Yeah. We'll start with a spatial anomaly question, right? And at this point, everybody will get asked the question, and depending on whether you get it right or wrong, depends on which universe you stay in or which timeline you stay in. So if you get it right, you go into the alternate timeline, okay? And when you're in the alternate timeline, the questions become easier, and they have multiple choice, and you can earn spatial anomaly points. I'll explain what they are and what they mean later on down the line. If you get the first question wrong, you stay in the current timeline, okay? You'll still get asked a question at the same time as I ask the questions to the alternate universe, but your questions will be harder and there will be no multiple choice. The prize for your question will be that you then have a second chance to enter the alternate universe. So each time we go through the questions, there will be several attempts for you to try and cross over to the alternate timeline.
Right.
But there will be a point where if you don't get over to the alternate timeline, you will be kapunk and you will be out of the quiz.
Right. Okay. Let's imagine I understood all that. And
I'll explain it as we go.
So, I figured you might, yes. I might need that. Yeah.
Thanks, Karen.
Right. Well, that sounds interesting, G. Thanks for that. Good luck, everyone. I wish you well on your journey through parallel universes and whatnot this evening. So, shall I start then?
Yes.
Shall I take us on this journey? Right. Yesterday's Enterprise. It is episode 15 of season 3 of Star Trek The Next Generation. Production number 40273-163. It first aired on the 19th of February, 1990.
So close to my birthday.
Yeah, the 19th. It's the 62nd to be produced and released. And the synopsis goes, whilst investigating a temporal rift, the Enterprise encounters a ghost from its own past, the USS Enterprise C, which has travelled 22 years into the future and changes the course of history. With the flow of history changed, Tasha Yar still lives. The Federation is losing a decade-long war with the Klingon Empire. Interestingly, the teleplay is credited to Ira Stephen Bear, Richard Manning, Hans Beimler, and Ronald D. Moore. And the stories by Trent Christopher Ganino and Eric A. Stilwell. And usually, on all the other episodes we've seen, it's written by and directed by, but this time we've got a teleplay and a story by. So there's probably a
You know why?
story. No, I was going to say there's probably a story behind that, I would imagine. Oh,
Well, the first thing was the Ganino and the other guy. So they came up with 2 different ideas for episodes. One was involving some sort of time portal in Saruk and Suruk. And the other one was about, another version of the Enterprise. And they both started thinking about ways to bring Tasha Yar back. And so they basically got them together and merged their ideas. So that's why this story was from both of them. And what had happened was, in order to get Denise Crosby and Whoopi Goldberg's time, they had to kind of rush the production of this, and they actually had to write the teleplay for it over Thanksgiving. So they had like 2 days to do it. They split the story between 4 writers, and actually somebody else, was it Michael Piller? Somebody else also did some writing, but the Writers Guild is that you can only list 4 people, so he wasn't listed.
Oh yes,
but they split it all equally between themselves and had to do it over Thanksgiving weekend.
I think he was listed as an executive producer as well as a producer as well.
Yeah, might well be, yeah.
That might be to make up for the fact that he wasn't listed in the...
Yeah,
I might have got it wrong about it being him, but I could have sworn that was him. It's all in my notes.
It probably was.
I have so many pages of notes. But yeah, so there you go. Story behind that.
There you go. It was directed by David Carson, who we last saw. He directed The Enemy, where Geordie got trapped on that planet with the Romulan. And he also directed Redemption Part 2 and The Next Phase. So
one of my other
it's another great episode, The Next Phase. It's good. It's a good one. I think he also directed Generations, the film, amongst various other things in Star Trek. Number of Deep Space Nine episodes and things. So yes, that's the episode. We'll go straight in with the teaser. I wonder if we can change the... let's leave it on that one for a minute. There's lots of pictures with this one as well.
Yeah, don't use them all. One of them relates to a question.
Oh, well, it might help. Might help Karen. It'll be fine. So the episode opens with Worf in 10 forward. He's joined by Gainan, who gets him to drink a drink. Worf seems skeptical at first, but finds he really likes it. Gainan tells him it's an Earth drink called prune juice. Worf thinks it's a warrior's drink. Interestingly, or not from this scene, the glasses they're using were last seen in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. They belong to a set of glasses that the captain of the Excelsior had in his quarters by his bed.
They got like a circular emblem on it of some kind.
The Federation symbol. They've got the Federation logo on it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I quite liked also in this scene as they're talking and having this conversation, you see like them warping through space. You know, you see the stars flying by 10 forward as they're flying forward. And you can see that the Enterprise comes out of warp and the stars go back to like being normal. And I like the way they don't mention it. It just happens in the background. So you know that the Enterprise was warping along and for some reason we've come out of warp. Yeah. Just see it in the background. It's quite a nice touch. That I like that.
That exchange with them two was apparently originally a bit longer than that, and originally said like, "What's this?" And she sort of explains that prune juice is good for you and it cleanses the system and makes you feel stronger. And then he says, "Oh, a warrior's drink," but they kind of took out that extra explanation.
I think it's better this way. It's just like, just what Worf.
Yeah.
Just like
he just tastes it. It's like something about it gets his warrior, sort of senses tingling or something.
It does.
I like the way you get to see him do a belly laugh.
Yeah.
We got that coming up. But I also like the fact that it starts off a whole thing with Worf and prune juice that sort of continues through Star Trek. Gainan goes on to tell Worf that he should try to meet someone in the crew rather than just always sitting here drinking alone. But Worf said he would require a Klingon woman for companionship as human females are too fragile. Gainan says there are some amongst the crew that would find him tame, to which he gives his hearty laugh. Go on then, give us a hearty laugh, G. It's pretty good. It's better than your accents, but
Excuse me. I've been researching that actually, and
your Cornish accent came out as Yorkshire.
yeah, but there wasn't back in 1844. There wasn't Yorkshire accent and there wasn't Cornish accent.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. Yes. Anyway, he says
Matthew Weeks is from Yorkshire.
Okay, right. Anyway, he says he will never know, to which Gainan calls him a coward, which I thought that was quite brave of Gainan to call Worf a coward. I would have expected a reply from Worf along the lines of, if you were any other bartender, I'd kill you where you stand. But he doesn't. He just kind of laughs it off. And he says he was thinking about the safety of his crewmates. And then we see why they came out of warp. A swirly thing has appeared in front of the ship, and Worf gets called to the bridge. On the bridge, Worf arrives, and Data reports that the swirly thing in space is something he's never seen before. Worf reports there's a change in the sensor readings, and something looking like a starship comes through it. On the bridge, the overhead lights turn blue, as we can see in the picture, or that way, they turn blue. The little notch in the front of their uniform collar disappears. And Worf turns into Tasha Yar, who's come back from the dead.
Andrew in chat says it's like a transition from peaceful Picard to battle-hardened Picard. But I was thinking it's strange just how the upper blue lighting kind of has that impact that it makes Picard look sickly. I think he actually looks sickly.
Excuse me, I'm just going to close my door.
Yeah, somebody's giving it beans back there.
Yeah, I mean, I read on one thing that they changed his, they gave him like brown contacts just to make him seem like a sort of a darker, more swarthy. But I was looking, they looked exactly the same dark grey to me. I don't know what that was on about. I don't think that's true at all.
No, but I mean, he does look more sort of like they've given him more foundation or something. He looks like slightly greyer skinned.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he does, but he's just come out of being a Borg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers. Anyone? Yeah,
anyway,
seen it.
Yeah.
Well, Monty gave a spoiler just a minute ago because that was a line that's from one of the films, First Contact, actually.
Yes, but I
didn't actually give away any major.
It was an in joke for those who know. You see, it's an in joke. Anyway,
but it's fine. It's fine.
As well as Worf turning into Tasha Yar, Troy disappears completely, and so does her chair, and Number One's chair. There's a bunch of other changes.
She ain't in it much this episode.
No need
fair,
for
neither is
a
Worf.
counsellor. No. There are other changes that we'll cover as we go along. At the same time, in 10 Forward, Gainan turns around from gazing at the swirly thing in space to find 10 Forward absolutely rammed with people. Unlike the bridge, 10 Forward is a lot brighter. The tables and chairs have become a lot more utilitarian, and everyone's wearing silver waistbands that also slings over the shoulder. There are directions over comms directing people to various duties. Gainan looks about and thinks, this isn't right. It's all changed. On the bridge, we see there's only the captain's bridge chair in the middle, like it used to be in the original bridge. Yar reads out the registry number of the ship that come through the swirly thing, and it's NCC 1701C, USS Enterprise. Everyone's shocked. Dun 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 dun. And that's the end of the teaser.
So that model of the Enterprise C was designed by Rick Sternbach and constructed by Gregory Gainan, to try and depict the damage that it had suffered from the. They just used like fireworks and stuff to give those sort of shooting
burn marks
things across it.
Yeah. I think it's a fantastic design of a starship, and I'm absolutely shocked they don't use it again.
Yeah, this is the only time apparently in which two Enterprises were seen together on screen.
Yeah, but they use the Excelsior model all the time for additional support craft, Like, but you never see that one again.
Yeah.
I always wondered why, because it was a great design of a ship. You think there would be more of them, and it was only 20 years ago. They'd probably still be in service. If the
Yeah.
Excelsior is still in service, I'm sure these would be as well. You think there'd be more of them about, but I think it's a great design of between the Excelsior, Enterprise A, and Enterprise D. It's kind of like marriages all those sort of design elements together, so it really looks like a sort of transitional phase of starship design.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
You're a fan then, I take it.
I'm a fan. Yes, I'm a fan.
I'm just sort of trying to read between the lines. I mean,
Yeah.
Do we have a question time, Mr. G?
Yes, so the first spatial anomaly question, guys. So just to remind you what this is all about, I'm going to give you a question. It's going to have multiple choice answers. If you get it right, you get sucked in by the spatial anomaly and you change timeline like the crew have.
Wow.
If you get it wrong, nothing happens. That Enterprise C doesn't come through the spatial anomaly and you stay right here in the current timeline. But your questions will get harder going forward and it will be more difficult for you to get where you need to be. Okay, so the first question. When we return to Gainan in 10 forward, there is a Tannoy announcement, which is, now hear this, complete formation briefing in main foreroom at when? A, 0900 hours, B, 1100 hours, C, 1300 hours, D, 1500 hours, or E, none of the above.
Oh,
So
God.
The options for the answers again. Was it A, 0900 hours, B, 1100 hours, or C, 1300 hours, or D, 1500 hours, or E, none of the above? What was the
I swear to
time on the
God, if it's
announcement?
none of the above, I am going to march to your house, and whether it's your birthday or not, I'm going to throttle you.
Well, speaking of the Tannoy announcements, can I say something about those?
Go on then.
I must admit I didn't specifically hear them, but they did put a few homages into the Tannoy announcements. They had the ambient noise was increased. They had consoles and displays making more bleeping noises, and the engines were turned up. The doors make a louder swoosh, and they've got these obviously these things over the tannoy. One of them was asking, I can't actually find it in my voluminous notes, but one of them asks like an ensign Barrett or something to go somewhere as a homage to Majel Barrett. And when they're in sick bay at some point, Dr. Silar is paged, who was obviously from one of those earlier episodes, the Vulcan doctor. So they just put those little homages in the tannoy announcements.
Oh, nice. I do like the fact that on the bridge you hear some of the pings and whistles of like the original Star Trek bridge, because and the doors, the extra swoosh on the doors, it sounds like the 60s Star Trek doors.
Yeah.
So it's obviously because of the war over the last 22 years, they haven't made certain developments, so it's still partly like it used to be.
Creature comforts.
Yeah, so the engine is not so refined, so it's louder. The bleeps and whistles are still there. The doors are not as refined. All these little enhancements just to make them more comfortable. It's just not there.
Yeah.
So it's quite well done.
It is.
Oh, Andrew's being brave.
Stuplum and Karen, if you can get your answers in, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously you were saying about the other changes. The bridge was heavily redressed. The chair was up higher, much darker all around, mesh grille on the underside of the tactical console.
Yeah.
You've probably got some pictures of some of this kind of stuff, haven't you?
To
me, I just love the darker lighting. I mean, we quite like any of the
It looks better, doesn't it? It just makes it look better.
It does. And then
although it does kind of look weird every time they look at a console. They've obviously put like some sort of lamp in the console because it's like really bright light coming up from the console. But,
and then on the flip side, I just bashed my mic. On the flip side, in 10 Forward, they to dial the lights right up so
Yeah,
that
they
the,
did. Yeah.
the mess hall, rather than being somewhere cozy and intimate and dark, actually becomes more what do you call it? Not clinical, but there is a word for it. But you know what I mean.
Instead of the light up tables for two, there's like long rows of benches and fold away chairs and things. But yeah, very cool. Okay, Stuplum's going for C. I'm joining Stuplum on a C, 1300.
Okay.
So what have we got then, G?
Maz, where are you at?
Oh, I'll just go for something that no one has said then. There we go.
A? Or have I got to put it in chat?
I don't know. I did,
There you
but
go.
you don't have
There
to.
you go.
Okay,
There you
so
go.
staying in the current timeline and progressing on with slightly harder answers is Stuplum, Montyban, Mazza, and Andrew. Moving into the alternate timeline is Mickey and Karen.
Ah, well done, guys.
The answer
Yay.
was 1,500 hours.
1,500.
Well done, guys.
Well done. Okay, so Act 1. We open with a military log. Not a captain's log, a military log. And a combat date. So, did they rename the whole dating system because of the war? Interesting. We learn...
So.
Yeah. We learn what we learned in the teaser, that the Enterprise is investigating an anomaly and that the old Enterprise popped out of it. Picard does call it the immediate predecessor to this battleship, showing that the Enterprise is no longer considered an exploratory vessel, but a ship of war. On the bridge, we see that instead of the lockers down the side panels, we've now got additional stations. So that's nice. And then we notice the command crew only have to wear the silver belts around their waist, so they don't have the whole over-the-shoulder part. Don't know why not, but there you go.
No
Data
idea.
confirms that all indications match that the Enterprise, that is the Enterprise C, and that the ship was thought to be destroyed near Narendra 3, a Klingon outpost, some 22 years, 3 months, and 4 days ago. And what do we know about 22 years, 3 months, and 4 days?
It was a long time ago.
I noticed this myself. I didn't even read it anywhere.
Oh, I know.
But if you had 2 and 2 together, what do you get?
4. And if you had the
And
other
if you
two,
have
it's
3 and 4
7.
together,
Oh,
yeah,
that's really good. Well done.
another 47 reference. There you
No, I
go.
didn't pick up on that in any of my 10 pages of research. Nicely done.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Picard wonders if it's been adrift all these years or travelled through time. Bearing in mind it's just come out of a swirly-whirly, timey-wimey thing in space. I'm guessing it's the time one. But there you go. Data confirms...
Spatial Anomaly.
Yes. Data confirms this by stating that it's the timey-wimey thing. And that they have encountered a temporal rift. It's like such as a Kerr loop in space. Would have required a tremendous amount of energy to create and would be unstable and capable of collapsing at any time. Yor scans the ship and reports that whilst it's in bad shape, there are life signs aboard. But it looks like they've had massive casualties. Riker hails Dr. Crusher and orders her to ready a medical away team, but Picard belays the order because he's heartless in this universe. Riker's dismayed. Yeah. Sorry.
It's all about the war.
Yeah, he's all about the war. We ain't got time for that. Riker's dismayed, but Picard is unmoved as he doesn't want to mess with their history, as something might change. And we wouldn't want that to happen. They receive a hail from the sea, who identifies herself as Captain Garrett. She asks for assistance and says they were attacked by Romulan warships and their life support is failing. Riker mentions that there's no record of the sea ever being attacked by Romulans. Picard orders Yar to open hailing frequencies and says he is Captain Picard from the from a Federation starship. Not wanting to give the game away. He tells them to prepare for emergency teams. He's willing to help, but wants to avoid any talk of when they are. But whatever they do, they need to do it fast, because Wes tells them Klingon battle cruisers are on their way. Picard orders battle alert, condition yellow. So I guess that's just the same as yellow alert, just said in a longer way, which is somehow more helpful. On the sea, we see the bridge is in need of a bit of service. They find Captain Garrett sat in a command chair, and unfortunately, Crusher reports she's the only member of the bridge crew to have survived. The doc reports she has fractures and serious internal injuries. So they need to bring her back to the Enterprise. Garrett's like, where? Because
on the Enterprise.
nobody gave Crusher the memo not to mention the Enterprise. So she just blurts it out. Yeah, Garrett wants answers, but Riker deflects the question by just saying they're from a Federation starship. Geordi reports that it's in pretty bad state. But he goes off to stabilize life support. Under the rubble, they find another crew member, Lieutenant Castillo, who is the helmsman. So I guess Beverly Crusher's scan of the bridge wasn't particularly conclusive, because she said everyone was dead. Oh, apart from that guy that's alive under that plank.
And on the birthday theme, the guy who played Castillo, Christopher McDonald, it was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
And also on the birthday theme, do you know whose birthday it is today?
I do not.
LeVar Burton.
Is it really?
No.
Yes. And do you know whose birthday it is tomorrow? G-Star!
Wow. All the birthdays.
All the birthdays.
All the birthdays. Yeah. Back on the D's bridge, Riker reports that Geordi has stabilized life support and is now working on bringing main power back online. There are 120... Oh, okay. Yep, sorry. I don't know what that bit's from, but I love the blue lighting on the bridge. It looks great.
Yeah.
There are 125 survivors. And Riker really wants to save the ship, as Starfleet could use it in the war effort, even if it is old. Picard gives him 9 hours. If it's not under its own power by then, they'll have to evacuate it and blow it up. Then Gainan comes to the bridge, which surprises Picard. She wants to talk about the fact everything is wrong. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And that was the end of Act 1.
Nice. It's a good act.
Good act. Any questions?
Yeah. So
Hey!
we will start with the alternate question, which is for Mickey and Karen only at this point. And it's a really easy one, so I'm not going to give multiple choice. But your question, Mickey and Karen, is Picard orders the Enterprise to go to battle alert when Klingon battle cruisers are detected, but what condition does he order battle alert to? So that was the alternate question. That's worth 500 spatial anomaly points. And as
That's
I said,
easy ask question.
Yeah, because they're in the rift. They get the easy questions.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
and that's because you just said it as well. And here, for everybody that was still stuck in our current timeline, which is Stu Plum, Monty, Maz, and Andrew, here is your question. It's the same question, but where are the Klingon cruisers detected from?
What was the question, sorry?
It's the same question. Picard orders the Enterprise to go to battle alert when they detect Klingon cruisers, but where are the Klingon cruisers detected from?
Oh, no idea.
Uranus.
Oh, that's disgusting. Andrew was saying he's surprised that Data doesn't have any tactical adjustments in the altered.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That
It's
is
a good
really
observation.
Good shout. Like if he had some, extra, I don't know, attachments or even some, battle scars like a metal plate somewhere, or I don't know. Yeah, would have been a good thing to add.
I think that's a little bit the case of everything on the Enterprise, really, because if this war had been going on for 22 years, do you think they would have produced a massive, slick-looking
Yeah, they wouldn't have. If they'd been going on that
Galaxy-class
long, there's no
starship?
way all of those people would have still been working together. And, there are a lot of things like that which don't really add up, but it would have been a bit of a rubbish one if it didn't have all the same people on it, or it wouldn't have.
It would have been some heavily armoured thing with guns all over it, wouldn't it?
It would have been a Defiant.
Yeah, a Defiant type thing with, like, big thick hull and massive guns.
Yeah.
Not the Enterprise D.
No. I mean, they do talk about it as, because obviously the Enterprise D can hold thousands of people, which wouldn't make sense in a battleship because you'd have loads of people dying. That's why you'd make them smaller with less people. However, they do say it can carry troops of up to. So I don't know if it's effectively considered a troop carrier.
A troop carrier? Yeah, I don't know.
This is Denise Crosby's favourite episode, by the way. Also, one of Quentin Tarantino's favourite episode. Apparently, in a radio interview, he said if ever he were to make a Star Trek film, he'd like to make a film version of this story.
That'd be great.
Yeah, do it.
A few of the people on Facebook were sort of saying, it should have been a feature film. It's a good point.
It should have been a feeture film.
They could still do it, but not centered around Tashiar or Enterprise C. They could still do a sort of cross timeline type thing. Be good reason to bring the new franchise crew together with the old franchise crew.
Yeah.
They've
done in Doctor Who.
Yeah. The lady who plays Captain Garrett, she was also, and I didn't realise this, but she plays a Klingon, Kurak, in Suspicions, and also in Deep Space Nine. She's a Cardassian lady scientist woman. In fact, she's not one of the nicer ones. I think she's the horrible one that's brought in from the whatever it is, the Cardassian intelligence unit to keep the other two scientists in line. So she's been in a few different episodes in different guises, lots of latex. Yeah. Sorry, just trying to get in as many of these trips as I can.
Yeah, no, it's good. I suppose Discovery's kind of done this storyline for the last 2 seasons, in a way.
Yeah, kind of. So I don't know if you guys are watching chat, but I've just confirmed in chat that Mickey and Karen got their question right, which was easy lemon squeezy. So they won 500 Spatial Anomaly points. But I've also thrown the gauntlet down that if they want a bonus 50 points, they can answer the other question. I don't think I've had any answers from Stu Plum,
no
Monty,
clue,
Maz, or Andrew about.
My answer was Uranus.
No idea.
Right. Okay. So you guys, unfortunately, will stay in the current timeline, and you'll have another question, an opportunity to cross over timelines in just a moment. But the answer. Oh. Mickey put it in chat. Mickey's got the 50 bonus points. It was the Starfleet monitoring stations.
He snuck ahead.
Well done.
Well done there, yeah.
So.
Mickey, the SWAT is back. We've wondered where you've been all this season, Mickey. You haven't been, dominating like you did last season, but it seems like you are back with a vengeance.
I think he just likes to outdo me. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, Act 2. We're on to Act 2 already. Wow, we're cruising through this. In the observation lounge, which also looks a lot different, gone are the walls of model starships, and now there are star charts and war plans. Gainan explains how it all doesn't feel right, but Picard doesn't find this as satisfactory. Not satisfactory! She tells him there should be families and children on the ship. But Picard's incredulous. We're at war! What do you mean children? Children on the Enterprise? She tries to tell him that the Enterprise isn't a ship of war, it's a ship of peace. But it doesn't look like he believes her. She tells him a ship needs to go back through the swirly thing. In sickbay, Picard visits Garrett and introduces himself.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is confused
Yeah.
because there's not supposed to be any other Federation ships in the sector. He asks her what happened, and she tells him how they were responding to a distress signal from the Klingon outpost. She questions him about his uniform and sickbay, and he tells her that she's aboard the Enterprise D, and she's travelled 22 years into the future. He tells her that the crew doesn't know yet, but he can have them informed if she wishes. He just doesn't want them to have too much knowledge of the future for when they return. Garrett's like, return? What? We only just got away with our lives. And then he completely he goes off topic. He asks her how this happened, and she said that there was a massive volley of photon torpedoes, a bright light, and then they're here. Picard speculates that the energy released was enough to open a temporal rift, as there was no record of their battle with the Romulans. The outpost was destroyed, and it is regrettable, as a Federation starship rescuing a Klingon outpost could have averted 20 years of war.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's the big if.
Yep.
Off.
If back on the sea, back on the sea's bridge, Castillo is getting his head around being 22 years in the future. Yar's working on the shields and weapons systems, whilst Castillo wonders if his family's still alive. Yar tells him how the Federation has lost half of Starfleet to the Klingons. Castillo says they were negotiating a peace treaty when they left. He thinks maybe Yar could update him about some of the changes, maybe over lunch. And Yar completely ignores his advances. Back on the D, Data thinks the swirly thing is most likely symmetrical. So Picard asks what would happen if the sea went back, and Data postulates it would arrive in the midst of the battle at the moment it left. He doesn't think there would be any scenario where they would survive. It would be a death sentence. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Karen says Pluto.
Yeah. Well, that question was about 50
She went
minutes
through her
ago.
own swirly whirly thing in space and just
Yeah.
answered a future
Just came
question.
through. Very
Anyway,
funny.
is there question time by any chance?
Are we at the end of that act 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise. Okay, yeah. So let's start with the alternate universe question, and this time it's worth 1,000 spatial anomaly points. However, there is a little bit of a twist. If you guys get this wrong, you lose 500 spatial anomaly points. So
Harsh.
this question at the moment is just to Karen and Mickey. What is Captain Garrett's first name? A. Sandra. B. Robin. C. Rachel. D. Cassandra. A. Sandra. B. Robin. C. Rachel. D. Cassandra.
I know.
And then for the rest of the guys, Stupid, Monty, Maz, and Andrew, here is your same universe question. When Picard visits Garrett in sickbay, how many people are on sick beds?
I don't know.
I'm going to guess.
Maybe
4.
you could get some help from the pictures.
I don't know. Sorry.
Oh,
we're
no.
not.
Not there yet.
We're not there. No.
So remember, the first question that Smiler's put in chat is just for Mickey and Karen. And then the second question is for everyone else and your opportunity to get into the alternate universe or the alternate timeline.
I think Mickey wants to have a stab at the question first. Funny.
Got plenty of time.
Yes, we have got plenty of time. So, at the 50th anniversary Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, fans voted this the 5th ever best episode. TV Guide ranked it as the 7th best Star Trek episode for their celebration on the franchise's 30th anniversary. And on uniforms, I think we talked about the fact that they'd gotten rid of the little thing in the collar and stuff, but they've also got these pointy black cuffs on them. I quite like the pointy black
little
cuffs,
black
actually. I think they've
black
look quite
cuffs.
nice.
Mm.
And the uniforms used by Enterprise C were those from the original series, but without like the big sort of
The white
collared under
polo
jumper
necks.
thingy. What's it?
Yeah. That wasn't the only thing. The only difference, they also didn't have belts.
Oh yes, yeah. Of course.
They should have belts, which is a
Yeah.
bit silly looking because the backs of the tunics
Has got
have
a
got little
loop.
loops where the back belt should go through.
Yeah.
But they weren't wearing the belts.
And Castillo spends about half the episode missing his comm badge. I don't know why.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I noticed they actually made them comm badges because in the original Star Trek they weren't comm badges. They had.
That's right.
Stu Plum, you're answering the wrong question. Yours is the second
Bamboozled.
question.
He can try. He can give it a go.
Yeah, the darker atmosphere and the metallic phaser belts are a little bit like the mirror style of things. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
a
they are a
deliberate
bit.
thing or whether
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just one-trick ponies when they try and indicate an alternate
I
universe.
just thought that looked good last time we did that. So let's do that.
And I think, as we
Again.
mentioned, everything's quite a lot more hustle and bustle. People just seem to be running around. It's got a sense of urgency about the whole place. Have we been in engineering yet?
No, don't think so.
Right. I won't comment on that one yet then. We talked about the uniforms. Yep. Apparently the guy who wrote all the music, he has cited this as being his favourite score that he'd worked on. There's a lot of orchestral music and it was like a contemporary orchestra, but they tried to be as sparing as possible with electronics to sort of add to that, feeling of drama.
I know, G, you got an expensive watch. You don't have to show it off to everyone.
No, I'm just saying, I'm letting the guys know in chat. I'm counting down 60 seconds.
Oh.
Oh, and I think we touched on it, but but basically it's indicated quite a few times that there's not really much love lost between Picard and Riker.
Yeah, they don't really get on in this episode, do
No,
they?
they have quite a few fractious moments, and obviously he doesn't call him number one. There's no light-hearted banter. He bites his head off 2 or 3 times and disagrees with him openly quite a few times. So I thought that was quite a cool little thing that they added in.
And the bridge to Enterprise C was the battle bridge, the standard bridge dressing set that we always use in every episode. And the console at the front is from Enterprise A, from Star Trek 6.
Question is
Go on,
closed.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so I'm happy to announce that going into the alternate timeline is Stu Plum and Monty.
Hey!
Yeah, because the right answer was 4. If you pay attention in most episodes, you'll notice that across the wall in sickbay there are 3 beds. As Captain Garrett was in a central bed, that would mean that there's 3 on the side and her in the central. So yeah, 4.
That's why I guessed 4.
Yeah, well
Mickey
done.
wanted to answer the number of people question too. He wanted more bonus points.
Well,
He
Mickey,
just wants
I'm
all
happy
the
to
points.
say you got it right with Rachel Garrett was her name. So that's 1,000 points for you. Because we didn't get an answer from Karen, technically she's not wrong. So I'm not going to deduct the 500 points for Karen.
She may have
think-
taken doggies wee-wees.
She just found a loophole.
If you don't know it, just don't answer. Keep hold of your points.
Yeah.
We can't get
You're
away
too
with that
late,
one.
Karen. You're too late. You...
5 people. Oh.
Right, we'll carry on with Act 3. Having returned to the D, Yar is showing Castillo around. She says the Enterprise was the first Galaxy starship, which surprised me a little bit. So I looked it up, and according to the database, the Enterprise is the first Galaxy-class starship. But in the same Wikipedia entry, it says the class is named after the Galaxy, which was the prototype and first Galaxy-class starship.
Yeah.
So
the first Galaxy-class starship would have been the USS Galaxy.
Well, it must have been.
Yeah.
But the Enterprise might have been the first commissioned Galaxy-class starship, because the prototype would have had an NX number first when it was a prototype.
Yeah.
And then the Enterprise might have been built and commissioned as the first ship before the Galaxy was commissioned as an actual ship. Possibly. Yeah. That's the only way I can explain that one. She says she served on it for 4 years straight out of Academy, which is also a bit of a surprise because we're only on season 3. So in this timeline, I guess the Enterprise went into service earlier than what, in our timeline.
Guess so. Maybe they rushed it in, or speeded up production because they needed more ships.
Generally, the years are supposed to be like the seasons, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they bond how that they were both lucky to be both assigned to their respective enterprises. They visit Captain Garrett and update her on C's progress. And once they tell her about the approaching Klingon warships, Garrett gets out of bed and checks herself out of sickbay to the annoyance of Dr. Crusher. Gainan is called to the observation lounge because Picard wants more information. And a few other things I noticed in this one. I was going to mention the swishiness of the doors, making the 60s Star Trek noise, but we covered that already. But I also noticed, one of the things I didn't mention earlier about the observation lounge, is they raised the entire table up.
Oh.
And they did away with all the chairs. So now they all stand around. They don't have time to sit down in any of that shenanigans. Now it's like a scrum thing, It's just a walk in, it's a war room. Walk in, have a quick meeting, walk back out again. So they must have put that whole thing on some sort of pedestal. She tells him she has no more information, and she can't prove anything. So Picard's like, well, in that case, I can't ask them to go back. But Gainan is adamant that he must. Picard's not happy about that. How can I ask them to go back and face certain death just on your intuition? Gainan's like, I don't know, but what I can tell you is I know that I'm right. Picard questions, but who is to say what version of history is the right one? And Gainan's like, well, I guess I am, because I'm the one that said it. But he doesn't think that answer's good enough. That's not good enough, damn it! Gainan gives it the old needs of the many, in this case 40 billion, outweigh the needs of the few, 120 people from the ship. But Picard wants to know what guarantees does he have that this will work. And she tells him that every fibre of her being is... he says every fibre of his being is telling him this is dangerous and futile. Resistance is futile. Oh no, he's getting confused. But Gainan tells him...
Foreshadowing, though. We like a bit of foreshadowing.
It is, isn't it? He says it's futile. But Gainan tells him has he ever known her to inflict her will upon anyone? She has told him what he must do, and now all he has to do is trust her to help him decide to do it. Back down in 10 Forward, Yar's still giving Castillo a tour and getting enthusiastic about shield development during wartime when Gainan enters and is freaked out at seeing a walking Yar zombie. The Yar zombie orders a couple of TKLs, which Yar later describes as food rations.
I looked all over the place trying to find out what TKL stood for.
She doesn't say.
Nobody knows.
No. But she orders them for herself and Castillo. You can tell during the scene that Gainan's super uneasy. And Yar picks up on it, commenting to Castillo that she's never seen Gainan react this way. In the next exchange about why they have food rations, I think Gainan forgets. Well, I'm not going to go to pictures. I'm actually going to go to a clip. Yes, I'm going to go to a clip and risk demonetizing the stream. Where is it? Just because I think in this brief exchange where she talks about the field rations, she nearly trips over her line. She forgets what she's saying.
So where was I?
You've told me more about tactical in an hour than I learned in my last year at the academy.
You're gonna need it, Lieutenant.
Hey.
Oh, have I passed it? Hang on. Sorry, I might.
What's a TKL?
Oh, there you go.
Standard rations. Food replicators are on minimum power, so everything else is diverted to the defensive systems.
See, do you think she forgot what defensive systems? I don't know, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. Ignore me.
At the beginning, I forgot to mention that, when Crusher is taking the captain of the sea, she does a thing where she says, "Oh, two to beam up," and then she goes down, and then her hand sort of half floats up again, and she realized, no, I already did that bit, and then she puts her hand back down and but there was her hands up, down, but she just kind of completely lost her cue. But they obviously never bothered editing that out or doing a reshoot.
No, they left it in.
There was some equipment things where they said about boom mics and stuff, but I looked for them. They've obviously either it was in error or they've removed them from the streamed versions now.
They have.
So we've spotted a few in other episodes, haven't we? But I couldn't. They weren't in them in where they were supposed to be in this episode.
Oh, you go. There's one at the beginning.
Comparisons. Yeah, above Picard's head when Data says, "I've never seen anything like this before," or something.
Yeah, so you can see just in the top here, you can see a boom mic, but in the HD version, they resized the screen to take the boom mic out.
Thought as much.
So there you go. While I'm on this, we mentioned earlier on the Enterprise D sea bridge is on fire. There's this console at the front here, double wide console, and it's a redress of this console, the helm of the Enterprise A. They just put some round things across the front of it. So there you go. It's that one.
Thank you.
No, I'm going to get back to my other pictures. Where am I? There I am. And yes.
As Mickey says, there's some hairdos there.
There are. Yep.
Well, not that dissimilar. I just think it's really Tasha Yar's looks different than what she did before.
Yeah, it's kind of like Wesley Crusher's.
Yeah.
She's got kind of Wesley's hair.
This was the last episode where all of the original crew were together in an episode. There are other episodes in the future that feature Denise Crosby and Will Wheaton and stuff, but never at the same time.
Yep. So, Castillo tells her that he has learnt more about tactical in an hour than he learnt in his last year in the academy. When she calls him Lieutenant, he says that most people call him Castillo, though his mum calls him Richard. She says, "Okay, Castillo." But he's like, "Nah, I'd prefer it if you called me Richard." Then they get called to the ready room, giving Gainan one last eye stare as she leaves. In the ready room, they're crammed in like sardines. Yeah, you can see a picture of that here. But there's a nice panning shot as they all have their say about the idea of sending the sea back to where it came from. they all have their say as the camera pans from one to the other. And it culminates in Data surmising that maybe Gainan species have a perception that goes beyond linear time. Picard's decided that the consequences of the possibilities are too grave to ignore and dismisses his senior staff. Riker tries to give Picard his opinion. Picard's like, I'm not seeking opinions here, I'm telling you how it is. Riker gives him his opinion anyway, saying their deaths would be meaningless. But Data points out that the Klingons may see it as honourable. And might end the war before it even begins. Good thought, Data. On exiting the ready room, Geordi quips that in the alternate timeline, who knows what it's like? Maybe they could be dead or alive, which gives Yar pause. And she gets in the turbolift with Data, but is wondering what will happen to Richard. But Data points out that if they're successful, they may not even realise these events ever occurred. And that's them in the turbolift having that conversation. Back on the sea, Picard delivers the bad news to Captain Garrett, who's like, you're kidding, right? But he's not. Picard says he trusts Guinan's judgment and offers arrange for them to speak in person, but Captain Garrett declines. Garrett says, come back with us. The Romulans would be shafted with your weaponry. But of course Picard declines. He can't affect the timeline. Garrett says, well, her crew wanted to go back anyway because they all think the future sucks. But she told the crew that Starfleet needs them here to fight the Klingons. Picard confides in her that the war's got a lot worse than is widely known, and Starfleet will be defeated within 6 months. One starship here will make no difference, but 20 years ago, it could have stopped the fight before it started. Garrett gives Castillo the order that they are to return, and tells Picard they will make the fight one for the history books. Yar says goodbye to her Richard, and tries to make him feel better by telling him they will be more maneuverable than the Romulans, but I don't think Castillo's buying it. He tells her that if she sees a man in his 50s giving her a good hard look, it might not be just an old pervert. As they say goodbye, they get attacked by a Klingon bird of prey, and it hits the sea, which causes rocks to appear out of thin air, knocking Captain Garrett off her chair. The D chases the Klingons away, but unfortunately, Garrett is dead. She got hit in the head by a piece of shrapnel. And that was the end of Act 3.
Cool, because I'm really behind on questions. But I think Maz has got some trivia.
Trivs?
Apparently that piece of shrapnel embedded into Captain Garrett's head was a wing from an F1 Valkyrie model kit. Apparently from the Japanese animated series, the Super Dimension Fortress Macross. But it's not the first time that particular model kit was used in Star Trek productions, having been used as parts for the studio models of the Constellation class ships, apparently.
Yeah. I was going to mention that, but I didn't.
So
do you want to ask some questions and then I can do some more bits and bobs
of
while
course.
we're waiting for answers?
So the good news is we've got more people in the alternate timeline now. So we've got Stu Plum, we've got Monty, we've got Mickey, and we've got Karen. So this next question is for you, and then the relatively easy question that follows is going to be for Maz and Andrew, if Andrew's still with us. Oh, before I forget to, don't forget to like the stream if you haven't done so already. But yes, this will be the last chance to get to the alternate timeline. So, as I said, first question for Monty, Stu Plum, Mickey and Karen. How many survivors are left on Enterprise C? No multiple choice. How many survivors are left on Enterprise C? And then the current timeline question that goes to Maz and Andrew is, the bridge crew are called to a briefing with Picard, but in which room? I need the full answer. The bridge crew are called to a briefing with Picard, but in which room?
I'm going for my libation spiced rum.
Ooh.
Yes.
My next one is Banditti Club Spice Rum.
I am going for sweet dram smoked spiced rum. Quite excited to try this one. What's a smoked
that is a spiced rum.
I've never had a smoked spiced rum
this
before.
Banditti Club is from Glasgow.
Oh.
Mine's oak distilled and is quite smoky, like oaky. It's very nice. Yes. So, get your answers in chat.
So that transition effect at the beginning apparently was sort of unscripted. And when they finished it, like in post-production, they did have it just as like a cut scene, just the next scene,
like
everything
bing!
was different. But they thought that it wasn't as obvious, so then they made it so that that scene it phased from one to another, which I think was good. I think it worked really well. I'm sort of surprised
it gives it like a
came in as a
jittery
later-
sort of effect. It's quite good.
Pretty good though.
I'm wondering who's going to break first and put their answer in chat first.
I had a guess at mine, but I don't think it's right.
Both of them have been said.
Have All right, I'm going to put mine in, my guess in. I think that's
so
what I
again,
said
on the
earlier.
popularity of this episode, it was listed as one of the 10 essential episodes in the 2008 reference book Star Trek 101. And it was also ranked as number 3 in Star Trek The Next Generation Viewers' Choice Marathon in 1994. I guess that was quite early days, though, before a lot of other episodes had come out.
Oh, hang on. Is this after the captain died?
Yes.
I'm going to go with 124 then, with the dead captain. I don't know. It's 120. I'm sure he said 125 earlier.
So it's like not just a number, but a subtraction calculation as well.
I don't know.
Though
I need to go for a bio break. 2 seconds.
Although it takes place in an alternate timeline, it's the first time we see Wesley Crusher in Star Trek Starfleet uniform.
Oh yes,
Pretty cool. Obviously, we see him in that again later, but
yeah.
Yes,
I guess it's like times of war, like in World War II, when young men and that just signed up and got promoted up through the ranks quicker because of attrition.
And a bit like we were saying about the realism of would the ship look like it does and would they all be serving together? In fact, if it has been warring for 22 years and there have been a lot of deaths, these guys, as relatively senior people, they would all have their own commands by now. They wouldn't all still be serving together. They would all have like pretty young crews underneath them as well, right? Castillo mentioned that the Federation had been negotiating a peace treaty with the Klingon Empire at the time of the Narendra 3 attack, but in Star Trek 6, it established that peace treaty was established over 50 years earlier than that.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff with timelines there and peace with the Klingons.
Yeah, well, I mean that's with the Kittimer Accords and things. But
yes, of course.
I think even with Kittimer and all that stuff, I think there's still periods of time when us and the Klingons start. I say us, like I'm really getting into my universe.
We are part of the
Federation.
The uniform say so.
Yes, right. But yes, hostilities between ourselves and the Klingons flare up every now and again, don't they? It even happens during Deep Space Nine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
apparently both Christopher McDonald and Trisha O'Neill as the main extras in this, they were both major Star Trek fans before appearing in this episode. So, yeah, they had total Chafty badges in that respect. I don't know how much of a Star Trek fan Jonathan Frakes is, though, because he made some comments about, still to this day, where is it? To this day, I don't understand yesterday's Enterprise. I don't know what the F happened in that episode. I'm still trying to understand it, but I like the look of it. It's like,
Right.
what? How can you not understand it? What a dumbass.
Well, interestingly, and again, this is another tiny little bit of trivia. I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but because David Carson directed this episode and Generations, David Carson and Jonathan Frakes are the only two people to have directed both Star Trek The Next Generation episodes
Film.
and feature films.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So there you go. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Fun fact. Okay, G-Star, answers, scores on the doors.
Okay. So, the answer to the alternate timeline question was 125, and that was worth 1,000 spatial anomaly points. And then the answer to the same line universe question was 01 ready room. But I'll give Maz ready room. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's the captain's ready room. So obviously, on this version of the Enterprise, 02 would probably be Riker's ready room. Because I'm presuming I went back and you literally see it for about a split second, but if you catch it right, you get it when the doors close and it says 01 ready room. So I figured there must be a 02, or else why bother
Maybe.
labeling it 01? Anyway, so
I got a pity pass.
yeah, everybody's into the alternate universe, and we now have. What did Stu Plum give for that one? And Monty, you gave 2 answers.
Yeah, well, it was 125 initially, but then the captain died, so it
No, but it was
depends on
how
when-
many was left when they came into the universe. That's where the question came from. How many was left?
Well, I was right to begin with then.
Okay, fine. So let me work this out.
I'm not going to beat Mickey. It doesn't matter.
Well, all turns around on the last question. That's the thing.
What? It's who can get back out of the alternate timeline. The rest of people just die.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I've got my score for this season. I'm happy.
Yeah,
I
you got
my
your one on the
point.
board.
I got my point.
Apparently, the original airing of this episode had ratings of 13.1 million viewers.
Wow,
The highest of the
that's
series.
massive figures. It's a good one.
And Rick Berman says that this episode, along with Measure of a Man, are his 2 favourites.
Okay, Act 4. In the observation lounge, Castillo is still willing to take the ship back. But surprise, surprise, Will objects due to lack of staff and the ship not having its captain. Data reports instability within the rift, possibly due to the fight with the Klingon ship. Castillo says he's returning unless Picard orders otherwise. Picard steps forward, and the light lights up his face in a cool way. I just like that shot. I just like the way he steps forward, and it's like the light goes across his eyes.
That's a really cheesy thing that they used to do, like in, I don't know, James Bond film, like in the 70s. It was usually the bad guy or something. You just have a bar
Like
of light.
noir films, yeah. Like,
Yeah, they do it with what's he called? Malfoy's dad in Harry Potter as well.
They do, yeah. Anyway, they do it with Picard here. It just like lights up his eyes. Anyway, he tells Castillo to ready his ship, make it so. In the transport room, Yar and Richard say goodbye to each other again, but this time they do it with their mouths. Yeah. Yar goes and confronts Gainan, who knows it's her as soon as she enters 10 forward. Yar says she can tell Gainan feels there's something wrong because they've known each other for so long. But Gainan's like, no, that's the problem. We shouldn't have known each other at all. You left in season 1 and I didn't join until season 2. Yar doesn't get it though. So Gainan elaborates, "You're supposed to be dead." Yar wants more info, but all Gainan can tell her is that it was an empty death. A death without purpose.
It certainly was.
I guess telling her she was killed by an oil slick whilst trying to walk to a shuttlecraft probably wouldn't help her case in any way. Yar's like, "Bummer," and goes to Picard to request to be transferred to the sea. Picard declines, though, saying he needs her here. But she tells him she's not supposed to be here. Picard says, "Sit down." And now, what's Gainan been saying? So Yar fills him in about the whole empty death story. He tries to convince her out of it by saying, it might not work. It might send them back and we'll still be here, And besides, you don't belong in the past, not your timeline, etc. But Yar's adamant. She will ensure the sea puts up a good fight and make it look good for the Klingons. Picard's like, "Oh, I give in. Permission granted." Yar stands up and leaves the D for the very last time. On the bridge of the sea, Yar reports to acting Captain Castillo, who tells him about the transfer orders. He's not happy, as they face certain doom, and he doesn't want her there. She says that, "Have you got anyone else that can do the job as well as me?" No. Well, he's like, he can't argue with that, so he says, "Take your position." And Castillo takes the command chair. And that's the end of Act 4.
Awesome.
That's her taking her position. And there's new acting Captain Castillo there.
A lot of stressful stuff.
So you keep calling him acting Captain Castillo, but actually when he's on, takes command of the Enterprise C, everybody keeps calling him Lieutenant. Whereas if he was assuming command, he should have been referred to as Captain, especially naval officers in a war zone. That would be the standard nomenclature. But also, I think it was after her death. Riker says that Lieutenant Castillo is the last surviving senior officer. I think what he probably means is, of everybody remaining, he is the most senior officer, but he's not actually a senior officer as a lieutenant.
No.
The senior officer is a lieutenant, commander, and captain.
Bless him. He's got a pay rise at least. So there's that.
He's not going to be able to spend his pension, though, is he?
He's got a no. It's sad times. Karen, you've missed the boat a little bit on the question.
Again. Are you sure you're watching it live?
I think you might be a little bit behind on the stream there, Karen. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so
we got a new question.
More?
yeah, we've got another question because everybody now is in the alternate timeline. So
Pressure.
I can now reveal what the spatial anomaly points are for. So the spatial anomaly points are going to get you back through the spatial anomaly, back to the right and current timeline.
Right.
If you don't get 3,000 points at least, then the Enterprise C cannot go through. It gets exploded by some other ships. And so you don't get through. So what you need is 3,000 points. Now, what's lucky is that this next question is worth 3,000 spatial anomaly points. But if you get it wrong, you lose 1,000, but only if you have more than 0.
1,000 to
I'm
lose.
not going to take anybody on a minus, basically, is what I mean. So this question is, when Castilla reports to C. Picard, Riker raises 3 reasons that would make Enterprise C's mission a failure. Limited support from ops, no tactical, and A, reduced senior officers, B, reduced photon torpedoes, C, reduced warp power, or D, reduced engineering staff. So when Castillo reports to C. Picard, Riker raises 3 reasons that would make Enterprise's C mission a failure. Limited support from ops, no tactical, and a reduced senior officers. B, reduced photon torpedoes, C, reduced warp power, or D, reduced engineering staff? Answers in chat, please.
Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
I'm waiting for them to get put in there so I can remember what the questions were. Anyway,
Trivs?
oh yeah, I'm not going to say that one yet. Yeah, apparently when Riker and Lieutenant Yar are performing repairs on the bridge of the sea, Tasha refers to Geordie as lieutenant, but he's actually wearing ranks of lieutenant commander, which she got his rank wrong, I guess. Apparently, after taking Tasha Yar's order, Gainan never returns with it. You can then see her waiting tables in the background, but she just basically effed her off. It's because she's dead. It's like I just forgot about her. She's not supposed to be there. Any more? Yeah, Mike Capello was saying he thinks it was a good episode. He never met Denise Crosby in person, but she did a great job for us. It's about as neat a show as we could have done. So yeah, he was super happy with the end result. See, they had to rush the teleplay so much. I mean, none of the writers were happy of having to do it in such a short period of time. They all thought it was rubbish. It was going to be rushed. It was going to turn out to be one of the worst episodes. And then everybody's really shocked that it turned out so well. So yeah. Some of the other stuff is about the Klingons later, so I can't say them things yet. Anything else from you? Any comparison-y stuff, set stuff?
No, not really. I just found a picture of the glass of prune juice from the beginning.
Oh yeah, with the emblem on it.
With the emblem on it. I don't know if anybody wants to see that. I'm going to show it anyway, just because, fun.
Fun times.
There you go. That's the glass prune juice with the Federation logo on it. And this is Star Trek 3. And there is the same up in the background with the two rims along the bottom there.
Do you know one of the pieces of trivia said that you can see a reflection in Guinan's glass of the lens of a camera?
Can't see it.
Yeah, I know, but I think they're talking about that circular
yeah.
thing. I was like, that ain't. So I just put nope next to that piece of. I should report that as an incorrect goof.
Oh, I see. They think that's like the lens.
Sure, that's what they mean. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, is it the circular thing they think is a lens?
No, it's a Federation logo.
That's a total wrong goof.
Yeah, you can't really tell it in this, but actually the glass is ever so slightly frosted, so it wouldn't really reflect anything apart from general light scattering anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I don't have any more trivs. Well, not quite this. Although main engineering was also darkened, and it's towards the end of the episode, so we might not have seen that yet. But basically, the lighting is dominated by the warp core.
Sorry, I've got a cough.
You poor thingamabob.
Mickey's never had prune juice. Well, there you go. There's a challenge for you now.
I'm not sure.
Gonna try prune
to
juice.
be honest.
I wouldn't rush Mickey, to be fair.
And I was just going to say, actually, Klingon word of the day.
Oh yeah, prune juice.
So, no, I haven't got prune juice. But I thought in honour of one of G's favourite drinks that we're having on his birthday, rum. A week or two ago, we had gin, which was L'Ron Duch. Well, this week we've got rum, which is Jatch. So there you go. Jatch. That's rum.
Jatch. I like that.
Enjoying some Jatch.
Good Jatch. I mean, this one's okay. It's not any kind of sweet. It's quite smooth though. It's Do you know it's? I mean, I know it said smoked, but it does almost got a slight whiskey-ish taste. I think.
Mine's oaky. Mine's a bit boffy-ish because it's spiced and oaky. It's a bit whiskey-ish. Yeah, mine's very similar. So
Josh.
yeah, we've all gone with the same answer as Mickey.
Have we?
Senior
Still not had
officers.
an answer from Karen though.
Karen's
that'll
about
probably
half
come
an
through
hour
in 10
behind,
minutes.
so we'll get it one day.
Uh,
I was always going to go A, but after Mickey went A, I thought about going for reduced warp power, just to make it different. But then,
Well,
I thought-
I'm very, very sad because obviously the whole 3,000 spatial anomaly points was so that you could get through the spatial anomaly to the other side to answer the final home question.
none of us have got through.
And nobody's got through the spatial anomaly. Everybody's wrong.
Oh,
ah,
So nobody has
times.
accumulated enough points.
what was it? Was it warp power?
No, it was
Oh.
engineering staff, reduced engineering staff.
Oh,
I didn't know anything about the engineering staff. I just thought, well, they've got no senior officers, so it makes sense that it would be reduced senior
I
officers.
don't think you're right.
Huh?
Oh,
Do you want
Are you
to risk the money ties and play the episode back? Because I
No.
certainly checked it several times.
No. I'm sure.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
Riker. He basically says they've got limited support from ops, no tactical, and reduced engineering staff.
Yeah.
Because remember, they've only got 125 people on. Shit.
No matter what, I would have gotten it wrong.
Oh,
So
God.
that's comforting.
sorry.
Oh. Are we keeping you up?
Sorry, I had like my day was bookended with meetings that were like 10 hours apart. It was quite a long day.
Yeah.
I was still like, I only just got off a bloody meeting from California at like 6:30. It's crazy. Anyway,
Right. Well, there you go. So we're all doomed to spend an eternity in
Isn't it?
in the alternate universe.
There you go.
Sad times.
Just for a bit of fun, I'll ask the last question anyway.
All right.
so does nobody
Right.
get a point this week then?
Nobody's won.
I guess it's
After all that.
whoever had the least worst result, right?
Yeah, well, that would be
Mickey probably.
Mickey, yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, let's get on with Act 5, and then we can have the final question. So, on the D's bridge, so we're back on the D's bridge. Wes tells us that 3 Cavort-class battlecruisers are on their way. Picard notes that they're not even bothering to cloak. Riker's surprised, given the pasting that they gave him in their last encounter. Picard addresses the crew and tells them what's about to go down. Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise.
Enterprise.
I noticed that when he did that comms to the crew, you hear the bosun's whistle. Who comes? You know,
Oh yeah.
that one. Yeah, which you don't usually hear when he contacts the crew. It's not a normal
No.
thing, so I don't know. It's something they always used to do in the 60s Star Trek when Kirk addressed the crew. But yes, the bosun's whistle. Luckily, when the battle starts, the Klingon focuses all their attention on the D, whose shields hold. They exchange torpedo and phaser fire. Oh, we probably need some good. There's the
Pew pew pew.
Klingon pew-pews. Pew, pew.
Pew pew pew.
Anyway, then Wes notes one of them's broke off and going for the sea. Picard orders the D to move to intercept. The D fires all its phasers and destroys the Klingon ship. Then the D takes a bit of a pasting, which leads to a coolant leak in engineering. And that's what you were saying about engineering being darker as well, and the
Yeah,
the
sorry.
blue
you
of
said
the
that
warp
bit too
core.
early.
I don't know if we've got a picture of, oh no, a bit ahead of ourselves.
Spoiler.
Yeah. So yeah. Coolant leak. Yeah, Picard tries to order another volley of weapons, but they are offline. They get hit again, and this time rocks appear on the bridge of the D that kill Riker. There he is. Killed by rocks.
Except when he fell down, he was like this, and then when Picard looks over the thing at him, he's like this.
They do seem to have a bit of a continuity issue with Riker and falling over. I think there's an earlier episode where he crash landed on the bridge and he crash landed in the wrong position or something, or there was a continuity issue.
Yeah, it's because then the stunt double gets up and then he gets down and he doesn't know where the stunt double was laying.
Plus, Riker's always messing about. If you ever watch any of the outtakes, Riker can't seem to get through a scene without trying to tell a joke or do something mess about. He probably just keeps fidgeting. Anyway, right, yes. So Riker's dead. Oh dear. The Klingon hails them and tells them to surrender and prepare to be boarded. Picard, though, says that Picard says that'll be the day and goes and takes over Tactical. Whilst the Enterprise is getting absolutely pummeled,
He vaults
the sea
over the thingy. It's really
he vaults.
cool.
Yeah, well, the thing is that platform's raised up to the same height, isn't it? So
Yeah, but still, he's like 90.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not then.
Yeah, he was in his late 30s, early 40s then.
In real life, he was about 50, but in Star Trek terms, I think he's supposed to be in his late 60s, about 60, 70.
Still pretty spry. I mean, I probably couldn't do that now in my 40s, let alone my 50s.
Yeah. So Picard takes over Tactical, the Enterprise gets absolutely pummeled, and the sea slips into the swirly-whirly thing. Back on the bridge of the D, Picard asks Worf for a report on the swirly thing, and Worf thinks that for a minute it looked like a ship was coming through, but now it's gone. Gainan contacts the bridge and asks if everything's all right, and Picard confirms that it is. In 10 forward, Gainan joins Geordi and asks him to tell her all about Natasha Yar. Oh, there's Picard at Tactical, whilst there's flames all around him and explosions, and he's doing his best to fight them off. Yeah, that's it. I've got a picture.
No more pictures. Not beyond
No
this.
more. Okay.
No.
Oh, crumbs. No
need.
No
It's
pictures.
the end of the episode.
Right.
Okay, carry on.
Go on,
Just
then.
for fun, last question then. And this is obviously quickest on the buzzer, first to get the right answer in. We'll just celebrate and say you were amazing, all right?
Right.
Okay, so in the final, actually, I'm gonna be really generous here, and mix it up a little bit. Whoever gets this answer right first gets a point on the scoreboard for the season.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh, right.
Or as well as Mickey winning the points overall.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
So if Mickey wins, does he get 2 points, or does that just consolidate his 1 point?
he gets 2 points. So
Wow.
you're
A
gonna
whole
wanna-
2 season. Well,
You're gonna want to really go after this one, Mickey, and everybody else. Stop Mickey and get another point on the board.
I got it ready.
Everybody is quickest on and the answer's got to be in chat, hosts. Okay, so in the final scene, what color is Geordie's drink? In the final scene, what color is Geordie's drink?
No idea, but I'm making a guess. I've got a better question. In the final scene, what colour are Geordie's cuffs?
Black.
Yeah, he's wearing the alternate timeline uniform. What a stupid mistake to make.
Of all the mistakes.
You're kidding.
Yeah, you got it.
There you go. Complete
Yay.
round.
I've got a
you
point. Were you not only saying the other day that you hadn't got a point on the scoreboard yet?
I got 1 point ages
All
ago,
right.
but
Cool.
yeah, that's exciting.
So 1 point for
You've got
Mickey,
2 now.
1 point for Mazza.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go.
So, what do
It
we
was
got? What
always
do
a
we got?
game that it could turn around at the last minute. Anyway.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, because I was going to bring up the picture, and I'm glad you stopped me. Because, yeah.
Oh, does it have the picture of Geordie?
Yeah,
wearing the
Yeah.
completely wrong uniform. I mean, how did they get that so wrong?
I don't
but
know.
I guess we can test whether the drink is red. And
Yeah,
the drink is red.
Drink is red, but yeah, you can see the black cuffs,
yeah.
black
It's got the
pointy
full
cuffs
collar
there,
and-
the full big ass collar. He's
It's, like,
wearing
so
the
stupid.
alternate universe.
I mean, I can't imagine
Shirt.
that like it was a scene from earlier that they then tacked on to the end because. I mean, unless Yar had come in and then gone out, and then she was like, "Tell me about Natasha Yar." Like that wouldn't have made any sense to Geordie because she would have known him, right? So it only really makes sense at the end. But it's really stupid that they didn't think to change
Yeah.
his uniform.
Well, also, this table and chairs didn't exist in the alternate 10 forward.
No, that's
Suppose-
true. Yeah, so they just forgot to change him. That's just so silly.
The exposure on that shot is not very good because actually makes the drink look like as if it's brown or something.
I think
whereas
it's brown.
actually-
Yeah.
I say maybe
Actually,
it
in
was.
the episode,
maybe I
it
got
looks
it wrong.
no. In the episode, it looks really red. That's the reason why I chose the question because it really stood out to me how red it was.
Oh.
But yeah, it looks kind of brown in there. But if you go back and watch it on Netflix, you'll see that it looks really, really red.
If you look at the comparisons, though, between if we
That
look
was
at
a
some
total
of-
guess. I can't say I paid any attention to his drink.
for example, this shot here, which is, do you see what I mean? He stood at the observation lounge table, and it's now at waist height, so it's like that high, you know. But this is like how the episode originally looked, and this is now in
Oh, they
HD.
sort of made it like a
They
lit up display.
they haven't just HDified it. They really changed the whole look, like the whole color palette of it. I mean, there's this here where they're in 10 forward, and then you look at it. They really changed the color of the episode. So it looks a lot better, I have to say.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does look a lot better. Karen says blue.
Yeah. We did the Riker was looking in the wrong direction. Apparently, in original drafts, there was some sort of voice heard over the comm demanding the crew surrender that they put could possibly be Michael Dorn's voice. So they were going to, maybe bring Worf in as an alternate timeline. Perhaps he was on one of those Klingon cruiser type things. But that didn't actually end up happening. That was the same point. And also they were gonna have like a gruesome death for each of the core crew members. Like this person dies, this person dies, and then have that a way of like having an opportunity to kill off all the people that you wouldn't normally kill off. But due to time constraints, it was only obviously Riker's death scene that was depicted. They were actually going to have Wesley decapitated
That would have been great.
and Data electrocuted. But yeah,
It's
they
sort of
also
like,
were worried about the graphic nature of it, that fans would, react maybe not so well. But how good would it have been to see Wesley get decapitated?
Reminds me of the end of Blake 7, when the whole cast of Blake 7 died.
Oh.
No, okay, just me.
The other
My
thing is
science fiction interest only goes so far, Monty.
The other thing is that when Yar joins the Enterprise C crew, she just kind of goes straight there as she is, com badge and all, which means that she's taking future technology back into the past with her, strictly against what Picard said should happen. I mean,
Yeah.
a com badge is a com badge, but still, it's an anachronism, right?
I mean, luckily they all die.
Yeah, I
It's not
guess
like she's going to
maybe they
get
weren't too worried.
captured and taken into Romulan custody.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's not like it could ever end up in the hands of bad people or anything.
No, and really advance the Romulan civilization on to it becomes a superpower in the. But
Apparently, the Klingon bird of prey's wings were in cruise configuration, not attack mode.
they were. Yeah.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what the configurations are.
Okay, well, here you go. When it's landing or flying through the atmosphere, a
They're
bird of
up.
prey wings are up, When it's in space and cruising, they're straight across. When it's in attack position, they're down.
Okay. There you go.
So there you go.
Learn something new. Yeah, Ronald D. Moore said, we brought Denise Crosby back to kill off Tasha Yar a second time. It was a great opportunity to send the character off in a big heroic sacrifice because nobody was really happy with the way she left the series in the first season. So yeah, nobody liked it. The fans didn't like it. We didn't like it. I'm not sure even she liked it. So yesterday's Enterprise was a chance to really kill her right. I just thought that's quite funny that they're so proud. And it got awards. I think. Oh yeah, this is one of the few episodes where Gainan's seen on the bridge. I think we all know that. This episode won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Sound Editing for a series, also nominated for Outstanding Sound Mixing for a drama series, and Outstanding Achievement in Music Composition. It was voted most popular episode in the series on 6 separate occasions. It was featured on Next Generation Viewers' Choice Marathon in May as number 3 in the countdown. I think we already had that one actually, but there you go. Oh,
well done.
I'm out.
Well
I'm
done.
out of facts.
That was a lot of trivia and gifts.
Share.
It was 12 pages originally, I whittled it down by a few pages, but there was only so far to go.
So with Mickey's win, it puts him on 4, which puts him equal with Karen, but Stu Plum's still in the lead on 5. Mazma Bob, you're now on 2, technically in 3rd place, and then in joint 4th place is myself, Smiler, Al Pal, and G-Star.
Did you ask for other people's scores? Mickey says an 8 because he really liked this episode.
Oh yes, so we're going to be doing scores now. So yes, please put your scores in chat. Yes. Put them in there. What do you think this episode should be scored?
And what have I scored everything else again?
Harshly.
I'm not so harsh. You're the Craig Rebel Horwood.
I'm not. Well, I suppose I am a bit erratic, is what I would say.
Look at that. 554, 775, 987. How can you say I'm harsh?
You were with Deja Q. Look, you gave it a 9.
No, that's pretty high.
It's terrible
That's not
harsh.
exactly harsh.
It's an iconic episode.
Stu Plum says 9. Mickey says 8.
9, 8. Right, ready, everyone?
You ready?
Ready.
What us? What us?
Yeah.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Ding.
Hey!
It's one of my favourite episodes, so I have to give it a 10.
No doubt.
I just love it. It's fab.
That
Felt
is the
like- it
maximum
felt epic.
score an episode can get.
I mean, there's, problematic story issues with the whole time travel thing, but I just kind of don't care. You get that with anything, Back to the Future, whatever. That doesn't stop them from being fun.
Actually, when it comes to things like, the paradox and stuff like that, this episode and the way in which they depict the ramifications of time travel is actually probably more correct to what pseudoscience kind of predicts would happen. So yeah, I think it's actually a little bit more like the way in which it's changed back. It's like it's almost alternate just for a semi amount of time because of the how it all unfolds related to time. So I actually think it's quite clever from a more sort of time travel point of view than some stuff that covers time travel.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much the theories of time travel, just the whole, there's no way there would still be an Enterprise class ship. There's no way all those people would still be serving together. It just was, completely unrealistic from that perspective. The alternate timeline would have been different, with just some different lighting. But yeah. I kind of just don't care. You needed it to be the crew and the Enterprise for any of it to work anyway. So I'm happy to just forget about all that stuff and love the fact that it was a great episode with great extras, great score, great lighting, really kind of almost sort of film level feel to the ambiance of it. Good script.
I do
Yeah.
feel bad for Castillo. I don't know what his name is as an actor, but I think
Christopher McDonald.
his career should have been more illustrious than what maybe it has been. I mean, he's not done bad. There's a few
I was
things
going to say, he's
corrupt
been
of
in
him.
all sorts. I mean, not like
Whenever I
really
see
big
him,
stuff.
He has, but he's actually
sorts.
a really, really good actor.
I can
Yeah.
only see him as the bad golfer in Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's funny because I only see him. I can only see him now as the husband from Thelma and Louise.
Oh.
Yeah. To me, he will always be the professional golfer in Happy Gilmore.
But that's interesting, isn't it? That's a sign
Yeah.
of a really good actor. Is that you latch on to a particular character, and they'll always remind you of that particular person. But yeah, I just think some of his performances are so far range that I think he should have done better. I'm not saying he done bad, but I think he should have done better than what he did.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
One little thought on the whole timey-wimey, spacey-wacy thing.
Whirly curly thing.
Because they sent Yar back to the past with Enterprise C,
Creates
technically
paradox.
that changes. Well, yeah, paradox, but that changes history because she wouldn't have been there originally. So
They never really do go back to the original timeline.
as we know, they never go back to the original timeline. The timeline from now on is the timeline from yesterday's Enterprise, not the original Star Trek timeline.
Yeah.
Like when Spock went back in the new film, the J.J. Abrams film, and they call that timeline the Kelvin timeline. Well, the timeline now in our universe is not the actual original one because of yesterday's Enterprise.
Well, it all depends on how strong the ripple effect is. That's the thing.
Well, we can see there are
Ripples later
episodes
on.
which are later on, but it's quite
Yeah.
ripply.
After these rums, I'm going to be rippling a little bit.
But yeah, it's just a thought, isn't it? That
Yep.
we never ever return to our original timeline. We're just in an alternative one now. It's the way it is.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. Yeah.
There we go. Top episode of the season so far.
Of
It's going to be
anything so
joint
far.
top. It's going to be joint top of
It will be joint top of the season.
of whatever comes later.
Not that we already know what we're going to score the last episode in the season or anything.
Oh no.
I think we know. Oh,
You never know.
G could just
We could give it a 9.
give it an 8 just for fun, just to mess with us.
Yeah. Yes, the first time we've given it a full 30.
Is it really?
points.
In the whole 3 series, first time top banana.
First time we've given
Wow.
top bananas.
Top
It came close with
banana.
Deja Q, but you kind of ruined it.
I think that's valid. I think this episode's better than Deja Q.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It is.
They're both.
I love them both.
Equally
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah. But who would win? There's only one way to find out. Fight!
What? Between Q
Well-
and Yar?
Between the two
Yeah.
episodes, yeah.
You would win.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Probably.
Anyway, yeah, well, yeah, I've enjoyed that. I enjoyed this episode, and I enjoyed watching it again.
certainly
I
did.
was worried because you know how I'd been through it, and I'd like find some episodes that I really used to like, and I've been like, oh, it's not as good as I remember it. And then some episodes which I didn't like have been, oh, it's better than I remembered it. So I was thinking, I wonder if it's going to be as good as I remember. But it was. It was.
I think we
was
picked
as
it
good.
up too much for Mickey. He was like, yeah, it was pretty good. But I mean, I think we built it up so much. He was expecting something absolutely spectacular. So next time there's a really good one, shh, don't talk about
You
what's coming
won't
at the end
say
of the
anything
series.
about it.
Yeah, we'll just play it down. We'll be like,
Yeah.
next week, best of what? Oh, yeah. I'm
Well,
not
the
sure
thing
I know
is,
what that is.
the thing is, we've got nostalgia built into it as well.
Yeah.
As well as everything else.
True.
It means more, doesn't it? When you build in nostalgia into things.
Yeah, but
It
you know,
holds a
I mean, all
certain
of those
place.
things I was saying, all those different votes of the top 10, the top 5, the top 3, the top 7. I mean, it's not, Yeah, it's not just us. Like everybody thinks it's
Yeah.
one of the best episodes. Either that or Mickey's
Yeah.
thinking, "Wow, this is like one of the best. Does it not get any better from here?"
Oh no, there's plenty of good.
Well, there's plenty of
Plenty.
other stuff you'd score a 10 for sure. Whether all
Yeah.
3 of us score 10, that's the real
That's
question.
that's going to be the thing. As Stu Plum notes in the comments, yes, there's no TNG next week.
Oh, good point, Stuplam.
We're having a week off for half term, so yes, no TNG show next week. But what have we got coming up next time
I
on the
know.
TNG review show?
Does that also mean there's no Monty Zone?
No Monty Zone next week.
No?
Could be. There could be.
He's not back by Wednesday, but might he be back by
Might
Friday?
be back by Friday. I won't have time to do much prep into it, but I'll be here.
Well, yeah. We'll make a decision.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No,
we'll
we
let the
could do.
world know.
We'll let the world know. Yeah, via our comms. Yeah, well done, Stu Plum, for pointing that out.
Thank you.
So yes, what's coming up next time? What's that coming up next time? It's The Offspring.
Awesome.
Yes.
episode.
The Offspring. The synopsis. You know the synopsis, The Offspring.
Makes me cry every
Date-
single time I watch it.
Data successfully creates a new android, which he views as his child. However, the magnitude of his accomplishment quickly attracts the scrutiny of Starfleet, who wants to separate the child from Data. So there you go.
Starflight.
Starflight.
It's another alternate timeline.
Yeah,
Take me
yeah.
up,
It's called Starflight now. That's what it's called.
No, don't beat me up. Rip me up, Starflight.
Rip me up, Starflight. Yeah.
Load me up.
Cool.
Yes, so that's
Cool.
next
Good.
time, in a couple of weeks' time. There
Kept
we
it
go.
under 2 hours, only just.
We
but it
kept
was
it
a
under
biggie.
2 hours. We had some rum, and all is well.
Majram, Stupla, Majram.
Majram, Stu Plum. Yeah. So have we got everything? We
Yeah.
done with the...
I think we've covered everything.
We covered everything. Just a really good episode. And yeah, as good as I remember. Join us possibly next Friday for next Monty Zone, and 2 weeks' time for TNG review. And I should be on tomorrow evening playing Fortnite for anyone who wants to come and chat with me. Yeah, but apart from that, we'll see you next time in the vault. Cheers.